Welcome to our tutorial on integrated reporting. This is the third video for our section on financial statements. Integrated reporting is, of course, an important report that companies actually produce in addition to their financial statements. Corporate reporting has become a little bit more complicated nowadays because companies now understand that what makes it successful is not just producing a good financial result. The non-financial factors also feature in the success of a company. So integrated reporting is that report that combines both financial and non-financial information into a single cohesive report. It provides a comprehensive view of the company, how it creates value over time, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's start off this tutorial by looking at the mind map to look at what we're going to be covering for today. We're going to try and cover integrated reporting based on how we did the other financial statements and basically touch on the same aspects that we did for the financial statements, looking at purpose, elements, benefits, and challenges. Before we actually hit integrated reporting, I want to visit our mind map again to show you guys how we would fit the integrated reporting into our mind map. So here's a look of our mind map. Now, technically integrated reporting is not really part of the set of financial statements. It does get compiled together with the financial statements, but integrated reporting is its own reports, okay? What I will do here, think about it to say that it's a bit of a dotted line that works out to integrated reporting. Many companies nowadays are actually very conscious about providing integrated reports with their financial statements because they realize that the success of the business no longer hinges on just financial performance. The non-financial performance or indicators also help in the success of the business. Under integrated reporting, there are 6 capitals. Your benefits, and your challenges in actually putting this report together. Under 6 capital, you may want to remember what are the 6 capital, your human, your physical, intellectual, social, natural, and the last one, but not the least, financial. That's basically a look of the whole mind map, but we're only going to concentrate on this lot for the next section, which is the integrated reporting part. Okay, let's get back to the slide. If we look at the slide, we're going to try and cover integrated reporting based on how we did the other financial statements, touching on aspects of purpose, elements, benefits, and challenges, okay? So what is integrated reporting? Integrated reporting is a comprehensive approach to corporate reporting which aims to provide a holistic and concise view of the company's value creation process. So very important to remember this concept, the value creation. Okay? Value creation, when we talk about value creation, we don't only talk about value creation that is done by the company for itself. It actually also creates value for society and for environment. So integrated reporting goes beyond the traditional financial reporting that it does. It also incorporates strategy, governance, prospects, and even ESG impact of the company. The concept here is that we're trying to generate a sustainable value over time. Okay, this is what will carry the company forward. What are the benefits of integrated reporting? Some of the key benefits is that it provides enhanced transparency for stakeholders because stakeholders can clearly understand what the company is creating or what value it's creating. It builds trust and credibility. It improves decision making by considering that it's not just the financial aspects that is being considered, it's a more holistic decision making view that takes into account long term sustainability. Okay. Aside from improved decision making, you also have improved resource allocation. Knowing where to focus on will help you actually allocate your resources properly. As mentioned, it's a long-term focus because it's not just short-term goals. Your decision-making process incorporates what will be good for the company in the future and longer terms. There is also greater stakeholder engagement. Stakeholders are more involved, more engaged because they understand what is happening to the company because there's enhanced transparency. It promotes dialogue and collaboration, leading to improved relationships and, as mentioned, more engagement. Risk management, that is a given. We spoke about improved decision making, knowing where to allocate resources. It's obviously looking at risk management as well, because if you're able to identify key areas of improvement, you would be able to also see where your risks are and where your opportunities are. It provides competitive advantage because the business actually understands itself quite a lot. So you can actually pinpoint what your competitive edge is over your competitors, over your rivals. Your strength could lie in areas for sustainability, social responsibility. It helps companies differentiate themselves. And of course, ESG, it's a given. There's an alignment for ESG to look at how the company contributes to societal and environmental objectives. As with anything else, of course, when you have benefits, there's also some challenges facing integrated reporting. Number one on here is the data availability and quality. When you gather information for your integrated reporting, there's a lot of information that you will need. A lot of it depends on non-financial aspects such as ESG factors. And sometimes these information may not be readily available, or if they are available, they might not be consistent. So there is some doubts on the data integrity or quality that you are getting. It can prove to be challenging. Then we have also measurement and valuation. How do you measure and value something, especially for non-financial aspects? It can be complex and subjective, right? So the methodologies and techniques that you use will ultimately be an ongoing challenge. Materiality assessment. Because you are not quite sure with the measuring and valuing, materiality will also be an issue when you're determining it. There is a subjective nature on the materiality assessment because each stakeholder's expectation will be different. And you may then be, as a company trying to put it into integrated reporting, you may focus on a different, I'd say, project or initiative which may not be a priority for your stakeholders or some stakeholders at least. Reporting frameworks is a challenge. you may think, okay, but there's a reporting framework, which is good because then we can follow it. There are rules and all this kind of thing. But there are a lot of reporting frameworks and standards. You have your GRI, you have your SASB, and others. This can create confusion and inconsistency in the integrated reporting. So you need to make sure you align with the relevant framework that best suits the company's needs and stakeholder expectation. Then we have scope and boundaries, which affect quite a bit with companies that have complex structures and subsidiaries and global operations, because it's a lot bigger entity, it's a lot bigger organization. The entity's activities, the impact would be, there's a lot more to do, okay, and to collate. And so the scope and boundary could prove to be challenging for bigger organization. Compliance could be challenging because integrated reporting sometimes face challenges related to regulatory compliance and requirements. Companies need to ensure that the reports actually meet the regulations and guidelines. It's not just something that you put together for a feel-good report or to put together to make the company look good. With culture and mindset, this deals with company culture and company changes. Adopting integrated reporting requires a shift in mindset and culture, especially for companies that have always believed that financial performance is the be-all, end-all success factor for any company. It will probably be a very difficult or very challenging to start thinking in terms of long-term perspective and focusing on sustainability, focusing on non-financial factors aside from the financial success of things. There will be resistance to change that we may have to overcome, and fostering that culture could really prove to be challenging. So before we end off, the last thing I want to cover is the 6 capitals of integrated reporting. These capitals come together to create the full story of the company's value creation process. So now we hear this again, the value creation process. Each capital represents a different aspect that contributes to the overall success of the company. So let's take a look at each one. Well, our first one, let's look at financial, because that's always the first thing that companies look at. When you're thinking of financial, this is representing the money and financial resources that a company has. So things like cash, investments, other financial assets that help fuel the company's growth and operations. There's a lot of focus on financial because, look, money makes the world go round. So at the end of the day, it is a very important part to the success of the company. So our next one is physical. Now, this capital is all about tangible stuff that the company creates and acquires. So think about this as your tools, your equipment, infrastructure, and that kind of thing. Think about state-of-the-art offices, a high-tech factory. Physical capital represents physical assets, enabling the company to produce its goods or provide its services. The next one is intellectual capital. This is the brain power. Intellectual capital represents the knowledge, skills, and intellectual property. It's all about the innovative ideas, patent, trademarks, and copyrights, and the brainy people that actually creates them. So here it's knowledge, skills, intellectual capital is like a secret weapon that gives the company that competitive edge. Our next capital is the human capital. Now, these are the heroes behind the scene. Human capital represents the skills, the talents, and capabilities of the company employees. Okay, so it's actually the employees but not just the employees, their skills and capability. Okay? They bring expertise, creativity, dedication to drive the company forward. Without these individuals, things might not be happening. The best plans remain just plans because nobody wants to do them, right? So that's why you need your employees, and that's why you need their skills and capabilities to be able to do this. The fifth one is the social capital. This is about teamwork and community spirit, okay? Social capital represents the company's relationships with its stakeholders, including customers, suppliers, communities, and even the environment. So social deals a lot with relationship. It's all about building trust, nurturing partnerships, creating that positive social impact. This capital recognizes that companies thrive when they foster strong connections and contribute to the greater good. And then the sixth capital, the last one, is the natural capital. It's last but not the least, right? Let's think about Mother Nature. Nature or natural capital represents the earth and its precious resources that the companies depend on, such as clean air, water, land, and biodiversity. It's a reminder that sustainable practices and environmental preservation are essential for long-term success. So think about it as natural resources, environment. So there you have it. These are the 6 capitals of integrated reporting. Altogether, they paint a very colorful picture of the company's value creation process. By considering these capitals, the company can tell a more holistic and engaging story about the impact that they have on the world. So before we end off things, I want to actually just ask the last question that I have as a sample question. What is the primary purpose of integrated reporting? Okay. Your choices are A, to comply with legal reporting requirements, B, to showcase financial achievements to shareholders, C, to communicate the company's value creation story, D, to attract new investors to the company. So I'll repeat the question. What is the primary purpose of integrated reporting? Choices are A, comply with legal reporting requirement, B, showcase financial achievements to shareholders, C, communicate the company's value creation story, and D, attract new investors to the company. And the answer to this is C. If you've understood what integrated reporting is, generally some of these choices could have thrown you off. But at the end of the day, I did mention a couple of times that integrated reporting is all about creating value. How does the company create value? And that's all that it is. That's the primary purpose of integrated reporting, talking about the value creation process of the company. And that is it for this video. Please don't forget to try your hand on some test your knowledge questions. I'll see you guys on the next tutorial.